I started trucking when I was a boy, way back in those other days. My father didn't agree with that, so we went our separate ways. The first few years were a lot of fun, but the trucks weren't very good, with tyres made of rubber and string and floorboards made of wood. They were hard to start and hard to stop, so you didn't have time to get bored. I recall an ex-army Studebaker and a Marmon Harrington Ford. It's a damn good thing the trucks weren't big. Of course, you had to do it all by hand, from drums of tallow and rolled up hides to shovelling river sand. I hung in there a few more years, and some changes had come about that made you think when you used them how you'd ever done without. There were 2-speed axles and bogie drives and semi-trailer tippers, refrigerated vans and hydraulic hoists and Pioneer clippers. I carted pineapples for Golden Circle on an Austin Lodestar, drove an International R190 pulling a tanker full of tar, went on perhaps to greater things and drove a B model Mack hauling General out to Mount Isa along the old Kynuna track. That B model went that flamin' slow, you'd think she'd put down roots, and that smell of burning rubber was the soles of my bloody boots. Then came the R model Macks, and I tried my hand at carting stock. Then an International Transstar that I drove to Ayers Rock. I had a go at bus driving for a city council way up north, but it almost drove me crazy, that 5 miles of back and forth. There's a good thing about driving a bus. As long as you're not a toff, it's the only job where it happens. The freight walks on and off. Then we moved to Bundaberg, where I carted my share of cane. I think it was about this time that I pulled my first road train. It was on to Brisbane, and we thought we had it made, when I landed a job on a Leyland Beaver, running Brisbane-Adelaide. I battled on, it was uphill all the way, and the truck seemed to come and go. And the hardest thing to justify, the mileage high, the wages low. It didn't seem to matter much. It was the same for bus, tipper or road train. You'd whinge about it for a while, then hook 'em up and head off again. I put it all down to experience, to things that had gone before. Although I knew it wasn't fair, I always lined up for more. It's good now to sit and talk about it, the muddy roads and the flooded creeks. Head off on a 10-day trip that could take you 6 bloody weeks. And that's the way it was for a good few years. As I travelled the great outback, I still loved those long and dusty roads and the feel of an R model Mack. Like most, I've done some foolish things, but I feel my most brilliant decision was the day I started driving for Brambles at Meander, the tanker division. Along the way, I made a lot of friends and I lost a lot of sleep, but I don't regret 1 mile or minute of my journey to the top of the heap.